Welcome back. Google this week became the world's most valuable media company if you measure what all its shares are worth. At $78.5 billion US, its so-called market capitalization is a bit bigger than Time Warner's and dwarfs Viacom and Disney. But as the .com stock flirts with $300 US, a lot of people are wondering if the share price is looking frothy, to steal a word from Alan Greenspan. Joining us to talk about Google and the online advertising business is Internet consultant Jesse Hirsh. Well, with all that talk, it sounds like Amazon.com in the old days, the share price doing this and being worth more than companies with real bricks and mortar assets. Is this a bubble about to burst with Google, do you think?
It certainly appears like a bubble, but I think, in fact, this is the real thing. And perhaps a more apt analogy would be with Berkshire Hathaway, which, was once at $300, is now up in the $90,000 range. And certainly the founders of Google have pledged never to split their stock. And already analysts are saying in the short term it'll go up to $350. So I might even be as ludicrous in .com era and say it could be at $3,000 within a couple of years because of the potential growth of this company.
But aren't there other companies that are trying to get into the same sort of business? Who are its main competitors?
Well, there's two different types of competitors. On the large scale, there's Microsoft and there's Yahoo, who both have the type of eyeballs, if you will, and search services to compete with Google head-on. But there's also older companies like DoubleClick, who are sort of mainstays in the online advertising industry. And really, we shouldn't think of Google as a search engine because the vast majority of their revenue comes from their advertising business, comes through their online advertising business, which is really where their future lies in terms of a growth company.
Online advertising is growing. Where is it stealing money from? Television or print?
I would say most definitely print, and that television, especially with reality TV, is still potentially a fairly lucrative market for getting eyeballs and getting access to people. Unfortunately, I'd say a lot less people are reading when it's much more convenient, let's say, to go to Google than to go to a newspaper in terms of finding up-to-date news. And similarly, magazines, you can find long-form and essay writing online a lot quicker than waiting for your latest Economist or your latest Walrus magazine.
But Google doesn't produce any content of its own. I mean, it's a parasite.
Well, certainly a parasite's one way to look at it, but they are in fact a brokerage, and explicitly they're an advertising brokerage. They help connect advertisers with publishers, but they also connect consumers with producers and retailers. In terms of their search engine, most people tend to look for consumer goods or aspects related to their general consumption. So in that way, Google is becoming a free market, is becoming the online marketplace. In this way, almost in competition with eBay, only it's free in that you're finding information and you're finding services.
Do people pay Google to get their results listed higher up?
People don't pay Google directly to get their listings higher up. However, there are an entire industry of specialists who claim that they do just that. And certainly while Google has policies that prevent it, there's always hacks, there's always ways to manipulate the system. And there is, again, an entire industry called search engine optimization that for a fee will help increase your Google ranking, although with Google as a search company, that's not explicit company policy.
Where are Google and other search engines going? What are they going to become? Is Google going to become something else?
Google certainly has incredible ambitions, and explicitly most relevant to its search engine is in multimedia. They have one project up right now called video.google.com, in which they're inviting anyone to upload video which Google will serve for free, encouraging people to have video weblogs, to become independent producers. And this is one example of how Google will be a type of network media company.
Okay, thanks very much for coming in and talking to us today.
Thank you.